Open the door and let us into the tavern.
Settle down, settle down. Now get up, because this is Tavern Talk, and we are welcoming you. We are a live Wheel of Time themed talk show based on the epic fantasy series by Robert Jordan. My name is Ryan, and joining me as always is my dancing brother Dan and Jansen, Lashley Haynes. Dad Swain Sadai is on his way. Unfortunately, Beth Doman could not make it, and we're still waiting for Tavern. He is a live wire, but we are here.
Ryan, can I say that intro music that you had going, that video is so funny. That was making me laugh. The floating couch, just the couch is in the middle, you kind of popping in and just being like, no. It's such a funny video, Ryan.
Thank you.
I liked it.
I enjoyed making it. I'm learning new things, Dan. But as we grow and develop, the show grows and develops, and the Amazon show is developing, and we got to talk about it. This is quite possibly the most controversial episode to date, and I'm sure we have feelings.
It's up there now. I mean, we've all been able to kind of process things now a little bit. And Ryan, is my camera flickering?
Yeah, it totally is.
Dang it!
We got the flickers.
I don't know what's going on. Anyways. But yeah, this episode was, I think, a line in the sand for a lot of people, and I'm glad that we're going to talk about it in a respectful, loving way. And with us is Jansen. Jansen, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I have a lot of questions. And I also have a lot of optimism. When I know a lot
help
of
me out with that. Yeah. I'm gonna ride your optimism train today.
Well, I have to believe that after doing this for 3 seasons, after reading 15 plus books, after talking to so many people involved in this community, I have to believe that Rafe Judkins has a method to his madness. That is what I am hoping on for him and for me, as knowing him to be a professional, as knowing him to be someone who has millions of hearts and hopes and dreams in his hands. I think that he may surprise us.
Well, we are indeed talking about episode 7 of season 3. It is called Golden Eyes. It was written by Dave Hill and directed by Aaron Donnelly. And this is an episode that takes place entirely in the Two Rivers.
Yes, it does.
The Two Rivers itself, we've seen the fortifications that are occurring. It is a different place now. We got barricades. We got gates. We got spikes in the ground. Just like World War II kind of stuff. God,
and
this camera.
I will say that the visuals that we got of the Two Rivers getting ready for war, they were higher than my mental expectations. Did not expect.
Real quick, Dan, how about this? Let's bring in Dad Swain. You restart your computer and see if that helps. All right, Dad Swain.
Hello.
There he is.
Here I am.
Out with the old, in with the new. All right, continue, Jansen. Sorry.
Yeah, I was really, really, really surprised, and happily so, to see, the embattlements and all the things that they prepared for. It looked like a village preparing for war. I loved the way that it looked. It looked sprawling. It looked big. Yep. It did not look like a small operation. It looked like all of not just Emmons Field, but this is where people in the books from Devon Ride, from all course places from Devon Ride through the forest. These were people and different refugees that were coming over. They even had the Tinkers, and with the Tinkers, if you listen to the text, and because I watched the show a lot with all of the text going so I can understand even better, they were bringing refugees with them. There were refugees that, not just Tinkers, these were just people that came with them because they were traveling. And so it wasn't just Tinkers that came into the Two Rivers during this time. They were getting all kinds of people from all kinds of places. So it's a giant army that they were forming.
Yeah. And here we go. We got a shot of that.
Now, keep in mind, everyone, we want to tell everyone that this is a full spoiler alert through the books, The Fires of Heaven. So if you don't want to know anything past that, you may want to save this and look at it later. Now, I do believe that there is a reason for them bringing so many people and them showing so many people coming into the Two Rivers visually, into Perrin's future army, because there are instances in the books later on where Perrin gets an influx of people into his army. I don't think that they're going to have all of those in the show. So I think this was a really good place for him to get a lot of, I guess, asses in the seats, if you will.
Mm-hmm. No, it definitely looked great. And like first season, I kept thinking like they need more people. They just need it to be bigger, so that I could feel more immersed in it and feel like I'm living there. And now we have it. Like every time we even the white cloaks, there's a bunch of white cloaks. There's just a bunch of everything. So it definitely has that kind of like grandiosity, even though we're just in like a podunk little village.
Yeah, I love this. It's definitely, you get the feel of how big it is. In your mind, you get the feel of the white cloaks being out there, gallivanting around the hills and doing their patrols and all that stuff. I love the way that they're doing that. That was very, very good. And I don't think there was much controversy there. We start getting controversy very soon though in this show.
Oh yeah. First off, look at Sembui with his makeshift armor. Gotta love that shit.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
He's got like a bowl on his head.
Yeah. And they describe this in the books as well, as some of the villagers looking this way. So it was a really good visual for me to get him like that.
Yeah, some of the shots were a little strange though, because when the Tinkers came in, I know that we just saw like the huge kind of wide shot, which I thought was really well done. And you got, like you were saying, to see kind of the scope of what they had done in the Two Rivers. But then when the Tinkers came in, just the way they were shooting, it was kind of like, are these wagons going to fit in here? I don't know if that was just an angle thing or just my own, perception of it. But when they were coming in, I just thought, is there going to be enough room for all these people?
Yeah, where'd they all go?
Yeah.
Go to the back.
Well, we do know that they have a secret tunnel there too, which they never had in the show.
Tunnel.
In the book. Yeah, the secret tunnel. You gotta love that.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, we're gonna have to touch upon changes. We'll just go through them as they happen. But
as they happen.
What changed in the build up of the war, of this battle?
Well, see, we're missing one fundamental thing during the beginning of all of this, and that's Teleran Riad.
Mm-hmm.
Perrin's use of the wolf dream was essential in him helping him figure out what was going on outside of the village, how the scope of how many Trollocs were out there, to find out that the Waygate was even open.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the show, it was Fail and the two maidens that found this out, for Perrin. With Gaul being not there, and Piran not using his use of Hopper and the wolves, that was their only way of figuring that out, because Piran wouldn't be out patrolling, at this time.
Yeah, I think that might be smart though, because they have not really gone into Perrin discovering the wolf dream at all yet. So then to have him walking about the wolf dream suddenly might have been a little disconnecting.
Yeah, a little bit. But they did find a way to show the beginning and the budding friendship between Fail and the two maidens, which is very, very good for the show and coincides with the books very well.
This was a huge change.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, oh my God. This was gigantic. This was, this was them using a character that didn't have much use in the books, and this was a way for them to use her. And, when they started using her, I was okay with it. I was like, okay, she is the next, wisdom of the two rivers. So that makes it good. That makes sense. Later on.
I guess it also introduces the idea that it's not just the younger girls, who are discovering that they can channel, but it's also, Days Conga is definitely not a younger girl. So it's kind of Alana realizing, okay, I'm looking for these channelers and I'm finding them in a range of ages.
It also does something else, and this is very subtle, but it's also extremely huge as far as the writers are concerned, as far as production. It gives them the ability to, at any time, grab any woman out of this group of people when they need someone to be able to use the source. They can, that gives them any, they can pull anybody, and they can give them any name they want and pull anyone out of there. And, I suspect that we might get someone named Nicola Treehill out of something like that. You never know. You never know. But it's they left themselves a pathway to other to characters, to being able to explain things, to being able to find a way out of things, with the power by using that. So that's something else that they did do.
Am I the only one when I hear Nicola, I just think, Nicola. Like, I didn't know her name was Treehill. That's her last name?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm too busy singing the first name. That's funny. All right, we got to see the dragon. You got to see the wolf head banner.
Yeah, and I liked it.
It looks like a banner that a bunch of farmers and sheep herders would come up with. I don't know that there's any, prolific artists in the two rivers. So when I was looking at it, I was like, that's kind of cool. It's just a little slapdash, and it looks great.
It looks painted in blood.
Yeah,
it does. And with it looking as frail and as simple as it does, it is another way to help show how Piran's growth. By the next time we see it, it might look better, and then by the next season, it might even look better.
What are we to make of this? Like, why are they choosing the wolf? How do they even know? He only told Fail.
I think Fail was running around kind of championing the wolf itself, not necessarily going, Perrin can talk to wolves and stuff, but saying, the wolf represents blah, 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 so he's kind of like our wolf. Yay. That type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, and in the book, it was Viren that told the Emmons Fielders about the Trollocs being scared of wolves. And Fail does mention that in the border, she says to Piran, I told them that in the Borderlands, the Trollocs are scared of wolves. So they used it.
The wolf kind of looks like Perrin, actually.
And then she straight's like, you love it. You love it. You love the banner. Come on, you love it.
love the dynamic between Fail and Perrin, especially in this episode. I was never really like a huge Fail, champion from the books. But this actress, Isabella, is giving us a really cool version of Fail that complements Perrin visually, and in this way that they have this dynamic between each other. And I really like it.
Yeah, she steals every scene she's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great.
They're just absolute opposites, but they work together fine.
All right, and then we progress into we definitely see Alana training the sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we see that. And so we have to make that for every time we see Alana training them, might as well figure she's trained them 10 more times than that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is the power up. That is how the power up is going in this show. Once they know, they know. So they're not showing, a trial of, not being able to do it. In fact, I was going to say one thing, but I'll hold this off. I'm going to wait.
I was going to say that I kind of liked, I don't know if it was as noticeable or if I just picked it up, but the fact that one of the girls was like, when do we get to shoot fireballs? And it kind of hinted at this thing that a lot of people are saying, how come these girls, and later in the episode, Days Conga does something kind of on the fly that's a pretty big deal, for someone who's only just learned to channel. So you have these moments of, how did they learn to heal so fast or what, whatever. And you can contrast that where she's saying, when do we learn to do a fireball? So not all of it is just, straight out of the, like they don't just know it all already. And so Alana, I can't really teach you all of these weaves, right now. So you do get a hint that it's not always just, new channelers just showing up and doing these massively complex weaves. They do have to learn.
I mean, from what I've seen from the beginning, from season 1 till now, Alana seems to be the most, formidable Aes Sedai there is.
Mm-hmm.
As far as she has shown incredible abilities.
Yeah. Yeah, her and Moraine.
She dove over fireballs.
Yeah, but I mean, even way back in season 1, she stopped the arrows in the air and shot them right back at other people. She's got
fucking walkie-talkies with her warder.
Yeah, she's a force. I mean, she's got those air blades that were pretty awesome. She's a force.
And this just has to be the worst hair I've ever seen in my life. And I'm sorry. I cannot. Is this the Shanshin influence and style across the land?
Looks more Klingon to me.
Her war hair.
Yeah, it is just bizarro.
I guess she tried to make it look like a helmet, maybe?
Oh no, Dan's computer isn't restarting.
Oh no.
All right, Dan, get on your phone if you have to.
Yep, whatever you need to do.
We'll accept you any way you are.
Wow.
I like the interaction between Alana and Maxim. It's growing on me a little bit more.
They have fantastic chemistry.
Yeah,
as far as actors together.
Yeah. I follow them on Instagram too, and they have the same goofy kind of play back and forth, stuff in real life as well. So I think that was a good matchup.
Yeah, their
Alana's Instagram is not safe for work.
No, but it's great.
No, she's a spicy meatball.
Well, Maxim also is hardly ever in a shirt, so Taylor Napier.
All right, so I feel like they did Maxim a little dirty. They gave him 80s style comedy lines in the middle of battle. It reminded me of Terminator. Just I was frustrated because he's so good at. I don't think those scenes needed it.
Well, when you're reading a book, you get a ton of POV and what's going on in that character's head. They can't do that on a show, on a film. They can't do that. So they have to have those little antidotes to fill in some of the space. It's not, you're not going to get like Rand thought that Matt was being crazy about this. You're not going to get anything like that. So you have to have something that fills in the space, and like the banter
out,
you have. Yeah, you have to have banter. And I mean, I think they did the best they could with that. It was neither here nor there for me. I more thought that they were using characters that they shouldn't have been using for certain things. And there were some people there that we were really, really missing at this time. Hey, there he is.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry, I was late.
Now the ladies can come.
Oh yeah. Oh, if you're waiting for me for the ladies to arrive, bro, I'm just.
I didn't say
nap
arrive.
Time at the old folks' home is all I'm saying.
Tavern. I didn't say arrive. I said
they
something
can
else.
Oh, well, that's true.
But yeah, where is Tam Althor?
He's at a bakery somewhere. No one knows where he is.
Why
I guess
was
he's hot. I know they mentioned him,
Hmm.
right? He and Abel took somebody into the mountains, and then I guess that's what he's supposed to be there.
But
He
who'd
is
they
at
go
Mountain
there
Home
with?
collecting old armor. It was Abel. It was
Mhm.
Tam, Abel, Bran, the Ibaras, and probably anybody else they could pull. But the three of them went to go save the Ibaras. That's what they said in the show.
Huh.
Okay, so I mean, what does that mean? That means
They got lost.
So that means that Perrin's family is still alive.
Yeah, that's why I
Apparently
think
so.
at the end of the episode, I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but at the end of this episode, they were doing Loial's voice was doing the speechy thing, and it was very emotional and great. But there was a line that said, he lost his family, and I was like,
Yeah.
no, he didn't. But
Yeah,
I
from
guess
the
maybe
Loial
they were.
book?
Yeah, I guess maybe they were referring to Layla, but I was like, wait, did he lose his family, or so that was a part of that kind of disconnect thing that I was talking about.
And Jansen, I think this goes back to our theory that we discussed eons ago, that because they bring it up again, they bring it up in the show. What's that word after king? Oh, Aemon, blah blah blah, Thorin.
Yes, they
Thor,
did.
like the Karatarn.
They did.
And even Loial was like, wait, what the
Yeah.
right? And then he went into the other thing, right? So my guess is he's up mountain, because I've said it all along. Tam lives up the mountain because he is the descendant of Althorin,
Right.
and therefore he lives
firmly agree
closest
with
to
that.
Mountain Home. Yeah. So that's what I think. That's where I think he may have taken them further up in the mountains. I wouldn't be surprised if they show up with like an entire caravan of old armor and freaking weapons or some ridiculous shit. But I doubt that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm starting to craft something because I'm trying to understand so many things that happened in this episode and why. And like I say, and I still firmly believe this, and believe me, I know I am in the minority here. I believe there's a method to Rafe Judkins' madness.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it. Have you guys talked about the elephant in the room or the Ogier in the room yet?
Not yet. No.
Then I'll hold off.
La, 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 la.
No, we're good. I'll hold off.
Okay,
No, I
all right. So Daniel say the actor for Tam is not available. Then recast him. They recast people all the time.
That's what I heard.
I mean,
as well.
that's what I say. Like recast him. Like tell the story. Just tell your story through hell or high water. Tell your story, and if
I mean, they've recast 3 people already. I think that I know of.
Yeah, I mean, when you're on a show like this, right, where it takes multiple years between seasons and whatnot, actors got to work.
Yeah.
Actors have to work. It's that
They do.
simple. And if you're not, if the show hasn't been approved, or if you're not written into the script yet and you don't know, and you take a job. It's that simple. And I think he was working on a show, multiple episode show. So it is what it is. I mean, I hate that it happened on the show, but
Yeah, and this guy is working.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
really working. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's all say hi to Terracid.
Hi.
Hey,
Hey,
New names.
Terracid.
Don't be a stranger.
What
Dan,
up?
turn your auto rotate off on your phone. Turn that like it looks like a lock with a circular arrow around it. Turn that off, and you should be able.
I don't
you
even
should be fine.
see it.
No.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, I'll bring you in.
Oh,
All
Hey, Dan.
right.
Is it better now?
Hi, Dan.
You're better, but you're like tiny.
Well, I mean,
in my head
I did it off.
Now rotate it back and then rotate it over. No, it's not working.
Hey, well, he's up. What up?
Well, he's
All right,
doing
we'll
it
just go vert.
manually.
Just go vert. I'll put you in the middle.
Hi, sorry.
Yeah.
No, you're
Oh,
good,
it's all
bro.
good. You look great.
For Terrason's question,
You look like
Bane
a
and Chiad
penis.
were present when Rand declared himself at the top of the tower and Falm, and Moraine did the dragon. I think for them that's proof enough that he was the Karakarn, because they literally said that's the Karakarn, and so they've just gone with it, assuming that that's who that is. And they haven't been told otherwise. So actually no, because Perrin knows that he is.
Right.
Yep.
So if they've talked about it, then he literally talked about Matt blowing the horn and Rand being the dragon. So yeah, that's how they know. That's my assumption.
Yeah, everybody knows Matt blew the horn now.
Yeah, everybody knows that. Hi, Dan.
Hi there. Sorry about this. My computer just, when you turn it on, it does that little bar that like goes across and normally has no problem getting across.
Yeah.
My bar stopped and then like it restarted and it's like, hey, your computer had a problem. Let's try this again. And then it stopped and then it restarted. I'm like, oh no.
I'm just going to tell you right now that your eyebrows look amazing. Did you have that string thing done to them?
Yeah, I had a Brazilian wax done.
Clearly not all the way, because I can see the bottom of your shirt. That's all I'm saying. I can see below.
Yeah,
your
yeah.
shirt, buddy.
It's a rare look into Dan's privates.
Hey, yeah. I'm not going to salute you because you're not an officer, but I'm just saying.
So better,
So
I'll
we
just be okay.
Private there.
So we get the whole Two Rivers montage. They're training. Maxim apparently doesn't know how to suss out the skills and strengths of who he's training.
He's
Didn't
not
even
an
know
order. He doesn't give
they're
a
like
shit.
they're good with the bow. Said fucking Bowie has to be like, bro, why are we holding this sword? Show me a bow. Anyway, so that happens, and now we're meeting
I'll
up.
skewer you, I will. You give me a bow and I'll kick your ass.
Wow.
Wow.
Arsh.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
when we start getting into some things that I don't quite get. As far as the choices that the writers made.
Not Lord Luke.
Lord Luke.
There's Lord Luke, who
Lord nothing.
really
Who's
is
just a
nothing.
name. He's just a name.
He's just a name.
With that ascot, he kind of reminds me of Fred from the Mystery Machine, but without any charisma.
Guys, are we getting Slayer?
No.
I mean, maybe eventually. I just don't know what they're doing or not doing with Lord Luke. Like, why is he there?
Unless,
I mean,
unless
what is
Pain
he-
gets
what-
an
what is
upgrade
even
and
his-
becomes Luke.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
Wait, did anybody like remember when all the Dark Friend White Cloaks last episode joined up? Did anybody look for Lord Luke in the background? Was he there with them?
No, he was not. Actually, yeah, I don't remember seeing him. I've got Luke pegged as one of the mysteries of the Waygate or the Way column. Remember when they came through and they were like, "Oh, somebody else has been here," and Perrin says, "I smell ash," and everybody was like, "Oh, it was Alana and Maxim that came through the ways," and then Loial was like, "Oh, only a dark friend would use the ways without a guide, an Ogier guide," Well, there were 3 pairs of people. It was a male and female, right?
Mhm.
And that came through the way column, and there's 3 pairs that have come through. Alana, or that are there, I should say. You have Alana and Maxim, right? Which is what we assume because of the ash smell. There was Fail and Lord Luke, who were also a male-female couple. That I still have. I'm still sus about both of them because when they showed up at the battle toward the end, there was a distinctive glare between Luke and Fail. And then we also have Fain and Cheyenne or whatever her name was.
Shani.
Ramalama Shing or whatever her name was.
Yeah.
So those 2 could have also been ushering Trollocs through, which is why there was, footprints and whatnot. So,
True.
yeah, they're still on my list.
You know what? You do make a great point. The whole thing with Fael saying that her mom was a dark friend and she killed her brother was so sus. I was
Super
like,
sus.
wait a minute, what's going on here? He's like, yep, my mom was a dark friend. Sucks. She wanted me to be one too. And I said, no. She's like, where'd you learn this dark friend stuff? And I was like, I learned it from you, okay? I learned it from
watching you. All right, speaking of watching,
I got no.
Yes.
That's
All
a good
right.
theory.
hey, we're suckers for donations. Let's read Matt Stagger's theory.
Good one.
Luke shot Alana. He's been hunting all the local wolves, and next season, Perrin gets hunted in the wolf dream while in captivity.
Ooh.
So he's
So
got
that's
big,
the thing. Guys, we haven't even seen a wolf dream yet. I was a little disappointed that an episode entitled Wolf Brother had no fucking wolves.
It was called Golden Eyes, but yes.
Well, okay, yeah, you're right. Sorry. All right, fucking, you're right. But he still should have had some wolves. There should have been a wolf or 2. Yeah, you're right. I totally am wrong.
Yeah,
But still.
they had wolves. They were
Yeah,
just
right.
headless, and they were on spikes.
That-
There were wolves, and
Wasn't that last episode?
it was the one before. Yeah, but I mean,
Was it?
that's
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
God, they hate wolves.
I got a
But
question for you guys.
Wolves and witches.
Yeah.
Hate-
Here's my
right,
question.
Jansen.
Do you guys think that somehow they're going to merge Luke with Padan Fain?
I literally said that like 2 minutes ago, that unless Fain gets an upgrade to be Luke, we may not see Luke, Luke, or whatever his name is, Slayer.
I mean, like, either that or those 2 right there getting merged. I don't know. But this is the thing. You don't spend all this money. You don't cast people for multiple episodes
Mhm.
for nothing.
Yeah, true.
You
Well,
You don't, dude. You don't.
I mean, we
there's
had
a
a
reason.
few Aes Sedai that were cast for multiple episodes just to be taken out in like a 2-second thing.
Yeah.
So,
But what's crazy is that 2-second thing was like 3 days of shooting.
yeah.
So it's like,
No, I
like,
get it.
so as many episodes as we've seen Luke on, he's been there for a month shooting with them.
You-
What is he? Well, there's a
I'm trying to
reason.
think.
He's only had one line, I think. Was when
I don't even know if
I-
he's had a line.
I didn't even recognize him at all this episode.
He had a line.
I couldn't pick him out in a crowd.
I think when
I mean, it
when
would have been
we
sick
had
if he looked like Daniel Henney in some way, but
Oh, that
him. Yeah,
would've
he
been
does
cool.
not. Yeah, he does not, which is sad.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
couldn't
he
see
does
it.
not.
Guys, is Mashin Shin dead? Did
I-
Nynaeve kill Mashin Shin?
Bro, I thought about that so hard. Like,
Yeah,
where the
I
hell
was
is
like,
Machin
where's Machin Shin when there's this feast? This
Yeah.
buffet.
Oh my
Just
God.
literally stood there and been like, here, crazy, here,
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
and it would have shown up.
yeah, and making a ruckus. He's like banging on the columns. It's like,
Right?
it's like, you'd think something would have gotten alerted. Yeah. My assumption is, fucking Nynaeve killed Masha Shin.
Yeah, remember,
No, I guess they do keep
we are
saying, like,
book readers.
shows up when they channel, which is in the show. Like every time someone channels, they freak out because Martin Shin is on the way. So
That is
maybe
true.
maybe that's a characteristic of the show, is that Martin Shin
Yeah.
doesn't just, mosey on down through the ways. He has to be sort of activated.
Well, I thought it was like so cool and badass when we first saw Fain like walk out of the ways, and he was like smiling and whistling, and you saw thunder behind him, and he's like, yeah, fuck yeah, that was a fun walk. And we're like, oh, Fain, but there is no more Navashin Shin, so it is kind of a fun walk. Sure, there's purple lightning and stuff, and it's a little creepy walking on those Hubert style
Okay, but if you-
octagon.
But if you go back to season 1, Padan Fain didn't have an issue with Mashin Shin back then either. He was
Right.
literally right there when Mashin Shin attacked, and nothing happened to him.
Oh yeah, and we get that, or maybe he merged with him like in the books, and it got all
No,
crazy.
in the
and
book,
he's just like,
Moraine says that Machin Shin understood Padan Fain, or Padan
Yeah.
Fain
Understood him,
understood. They understood each other.
It's a very weird relationship.
They're in a
So
relationship.
here's a crazy theory. Okay, you know what? No, because I need to find out what we're talking about at the moment before I get into this.
it doesn't matter.
Oh,
We're
it doesn't
just-
matter?
I don't think we have a
We're
top
jumping.
So since they're merging a lot of shit, right? And this is a far-fetched theory, Jansen. You'll appreciate all the crap I'm pulling from different areas here. So the way gates the ways were created by male channelers. And the Ogier were told to mark a location outside of their steading where they wanted the gates to appear, and then they would tree sing to activate the gates creation, right? So they could access the ways, if I'm not mistaken. So Loial started singing once he was inside, right? There were several things that were going through my mind, and this isn't a theory. This is just shit that I was thinking about. One, he started singing, and I was like, I wonder if that activated something, because he's tree singing, or he might have been tree singing inside the ways, which would have been
Manetha tree singing.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Two, he's banging. Well, he didn't sing; he hummed it, and that's the other thing is, why would Loial sing or hum that song? He didn't hear Perrin singing it, right? So
That's
why
a
would he
great
choose that song? Which was interesting. Two, he's banging on the way columns with his
Hubba.
giant iron hammer that was not
Hubba.
brass. Yeah, hubba. So I'm wondering if they might mix the material used for the way gates or the way columns with the material that the Tower of Genji is made out of. Because I still think there's a chance. I haven't seen a body. I'm not gonna, I don't know. We'll see. So, anyways,
Ryan,
those are the things that were going through my head.
Guys, by the way, my computer's officially broken. This last week, my mechanic totaled my car. I'm not having a good 3 weeks, guys. This is crummy. Anyways, sorry.
I'll send you a virtual hug.
Sorry.
All I can
I was
do.
gonna try to find a blues song for you, Dan.
You look great.
You want us to sing
Damn
an
it.
Ephraim song for you?
Yeah, please. Yes, do it in a major chord instead of a minor chord, though, please.
Jansen, kick it off.
All right, so let's talk. There were a couple good points in this episode. I want to point out a couple of the good points. I liked the battle scenes a lot. I liked Fail a lot. She is like, there's no doubt in my mind that this actress could kill me at any given moment, right? Like, it seems like she is so ninja. She's the most ninja I've ever seen.
Oh, Fail? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's yeah.
The amount of people, the scope and the scale of things, I think was phenomenal. I liked having hundreds of people on the two rivers instead of dozens.
Yep.
And that's probably it.
Do you want the official kill count for Fail?
Yeah.
I'm in the. We're in the Watt League thing. So, and we have Fail on our team. So I can tell you, if I'm not mistaken, that Commissioner Smack counted her killing 7 dark friends and 4 Trollocs.
All right.
Okay.
All in that one span.
That one span.
In that one span, pretty much. She was a wrecking machine.
Wrecking ball.
Yeah. Perrin was too.
Yeah.
He was, but he wasn't finishing anybody off, which
No,
I mean he
he's-
did kill a couple of people actually. But yeah, crazy.
He really was like kill the ones that I miss, and he's just throwing her like fodder and stuff.
He's all whoever I miss, you take out. The other thing I did like, I'll say, as far as the Alana Maxim thing, I wasn't the hugest fan of the time spent on it, obviously, but I like that. So with Steppen, Lan was kind of joking. He's like, "Hey, don't worry, it only hurts the first time I hear." Kind of thing. And Steppen was like, "Oh, great! If I'm jumping into this water thing, suddenly I'm gonna be the fourth in this threesome." This showed that it's like, well, no, it's not that frivolous. There actually is love and adoration between Alana and Maxime that did come through. And the loss of Yvonne did matter. So the first season, it seemed like, Lan was like, "Hey, Steppen,
One for the team.
get ready, bro. We're all gay, sometimes." And now it kind of shifted. They're like, no, we're not that. No, it's you and I. We have to create this new thing. And the biting on the ear thing. Yeah, I guess there might be some PTSD there, where he's like, no. That's actually what he did that. So don't do that. And she dug it, so that was a bit mature. I like that. I don't like the time spent on it, and I don't necessarily like that she lived at all.
Again.
But
that woman survived so much shit. So
arrows won't kill Alana.
No, listen, I don't have an issue with the time spent, because looking back at the books, right, their 2 people are filling in for 3 other. So there's 2 of them. There's supposed to be 5 that they've kind of blended all together. We know Tam was kind of blended in with Maxim with his lines and stuff. Yep. But when it first starts, there's a whole ass other Aes Sedai there.
Yeah.
And another warder, right? The warder we lose pretty early on. But the 2 of them are trying to fill in for 5 freaking people. So the fact that they're spending time on them, I don't have an issue. Plus, I really am liking the relationship. I mean, and when you were saying that there was a distance there between Maxim and Alana, he mentions that in the first season when he says, or was it the second one? He says, I was in love with Yvonne and Yvonne was in love with Alana, right? So he always felt like a third wheel. So yeah, the PTSD is definitely real. I really like that they have tackled that particular thing this season. They've actually tackled quite a few different things this season. But PTSD, they've handled really, really well in all instances, including Egwene's and Alana and Maxim's.
And Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's a ton of it.
Alana is a main character in this show, so you have to spend some time with her and her story. Whether we as book readers kind of like are not into it as much, the people who are show only, they've never read the books, like they're hot for these people. So I really like that.
Keep in mind, Robert
that's
Jordan spent a lot of time on Alana's emotional state in the books. A lot of time. So I mean, she was in a lot.
Yeah.
In the books,
I was going to say, that's when were you finishing?
Please.
Yeah, just that part of I am starting to see I think it's starting to blossom in me, where I'm kind of like, well, what is it about Alana and whatever? Because I do want her to get to that, point that we're all sort of like, oh my God, is it going to happen type thing? Because I think that's going to shock everybody. So for the TV drama of it, I'm here for it. But I do like how they.
Well, let's dig into that. That's when it is the only reason I know Alana from the books is because of the
incident,
hubris, the
The
incident, and I think we can talk about it. I mean,
we'll call it a
so
game of
do you
tag.
think it? I don't see this happening in this book or in the show, rather, at all. Do you?
Nope.
See what? This?
That he
No,
that she
her
she
bonded
bonds
Rand.
Rand.
Yeah, I actually think she bonds somebody else. But that's me.
I think that I could see it. It all depends. It depends on what, because everything happened to her around her emotional state in the books. That's everything that happened. It's all around her emotional state. So
Right.
I believe this is what I believe about our Alana character. I believe she's going to make it to the last battle.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I think.
Yeah, she's resilient as shit. We've seen that time and time again.
Well, her
I
tone
think
is
Well, and I like this character and actress a lot too. I didn't like her hairstyle at all, though. I didn't like that dinosaur crest.
The
It looked like
Guardian
she was
helmet,
from. Yeah,
the Guardian helmet for Aes Sedai.
no. To me, it looked like she was like a ceratopsis or something. Like had like a little ridge.
That's right.
Yeah.
We'd have to have London on here. London knows dinosaurs like nobody's business.
A stegosaurus, maybe. yeah, I don't know.
Stegosaurus.
The thing that Padan Fain wears, or Eamon Balder wears on his shoulder, she had the hairstyle of that.
The
She said,
pauldron or whatever.
Make it look like that.
Yeah, the halberd. She had halberd hair.
So, I'm gonna say because the Loial thing, and I hate to go back to it, but I'm just gonna say it. I kind of understand. I really don't, but I'm gonna say I kind of understand. And again, I've gotten to the point where I don't really bitch about their decisions anymore because it doesn't matter what we say; they're still gonna make them.
Right.
Like the 0-0, we move that needle, not at all. Whenever we complain about anything. But I will say the thing that bothered me about it the most was how it literally pulled me out of the zone that I was in, because I'm sitting here watching the battle, right? And the battle's a huge part of the books, and we all love the fight for the two rivers. And I'm like, okay, they're kind of doing it justice. I'm okay with this. I get that it's small scale, but they skipped a bunch of this stuff and it went straight into the house-to-house fighting, which is fine. And then they cut to this whole thing with Loial, because that's all a big fight too with Bane and Chiat and Loial. That's amazing. And then they cut to this thing. And now I'm completely and utterly pulled out of the immersion that I was in with the battle, because now I can't think of anything else. And I'm like, well, fuck, they just ruined this whole freaking battle for me.
I think
that's where
I was confused by the logic / illogic of why did Loial have to go inside to destroy
he does it in the books.
He does, but it has to do with the leaves.
The leaves, yeah.
So it was like, okay, so then he goes in and he's trying to hammer blast the thing, and there's a shield on it or whatever. And so I get it, but I was like, did he not know that beforehand? So there was a little bit of just inconsistency that I was kind of like, why are they doing that?
Well, with the way columns, they've jacked the way columns up.
Yeah.
Like for me, they've screwed them up. You can't fix what they've done to the way columns or the way gates. One. There should be if I'm not mistaken, they're identical on the inside and the outside. So the leaves and all that stuff are also on the inside. They don't have that here. Once you go in, you're in this inky blackness of hexagons and shit. And they've again, I'm not a big fan. So now we have this.
You don't like the Cubert seat? You don't like the Cubert set?
No, I don't have a problem with the Cubert set. I'm okay with the Cubert set because I thought it was genius. I literally thought it was genius the way they did it. It was on wheels. They could move it around. They could shift it. They could add different pieces to it and make it look completely different. And it's an easy shape to recreate in a 3D software. When you're doing, a 3D rendering of the ways, it's an easy freaking shape to recreate that doesn't have a lot of polygons on it. So it doesn't take up a lot of, power for your computer. So I thought it was genius. It's the gates themselves that I think are jacked up. And they should have fixed it from the first season. They did not. And now they're stuck with Loial banging on a freaking, on a column that you can't destroy.
That whole scene was troublesome, right, guys? Did you get the sense that he was really like hitting the gate when it bounced? Like it seemed like he was. It was. Yeah, I was
it's a hard
so
thing to act,
disappointed
dude.
with this stuff.
I think it's a hard thing to act, that reaction. We've all hit something so hard that it kind of shook us. That's an involuntary reaction that he was trying to mimic, and I thought he did a decent job of it.
In full makeup.
In makeup. Yeah, in full makeup. I thought he did a really good job of it. But it's why are the way gates?
I liked his howl.
protected? That was cool.
Oh yeah, yeah, but you're
Except
right. Like, why are the Waygates shielded like that? I just didn't really understand.
I thought I'm not to pile on, but at this moment kind of bothered me too. Like again, I truly thought they died in this scene, and I think they knew they were going to die because the numbers were outrageous.
Oh, for Banshee?
Yeah, and they stand up and they do this like maniacal smile. Like I felt like a missed opportunity. They could have looked at each other, given a look that demonstrated their entire relationship, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna miss you, but but like,
way, they're Loial. No way.
No, there's no way in hell. They would have literally looked at each other exactly how they looked at each other.
Yeah,
remember, even when Rand and Avienda left each other for the last time.
Yeah. Yeah, they literally in this moment, they're thinking, oh, we get more toys to play with. At no point do they think they're going to die right there.
Well, and even if they did, this is like the best way for first sisters to die is to die together in battle. So
yeah.
Guys, is Days Conger alive? I'm confused.
No.
There's
no way in hell. She's done.
Kebab. Like she's
done.
out.
Yeah.
She's
also, just for you, Bane and Shiad were actually on the losing end of that fight. I hate to say it. I don't want to freaking say it out loud because I don't want Threefold Talk to come after my ass. But in that scene, they were both on their back side by side, and they were surrounded when the Waygate exploded and took out everything above them. It washed right over them.
Right, and that was a bit. Ryan thought, how did they live? They were the whole mountain blew up.
I don't know. I mean, to me, it was more light than anything else, but there was a shockwave, so something should have happened.
Yeah, maybe the explosion. Oh, I don't know, because if everyone died because the explosion was lateral,
they were underneath it.
But then when Perrin looked, there was also a vertical explosion, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, it looked like a dome, almost like a boom.
Yeah.
But then again, I mean, from the epicenter, it gets bigger as it goes out, so maybe. Again, we're talking about physics that in a TV show.
Not only that, like, how consistent do you think this show, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how consistent do you think this TV show has been?
You mean with power?
Consistent. You define consistent the way you want. Like, would you through these 3 seasons? How consistent has this show been?
I want to say they've been pretty consistent as far as growth. I mean, every season it gets better and better. We get better effects. We get better makeup. We get better everything as the show progresses. And I think they've been consistent in that. They've also been consistent, I think, in putting together a decent show story. I mean, I don't know if we were never going to get the books, but I think they've done a decent job. Now, do we agree with every choice they've made? No, but it's not our. I think a lot of people, a lot of fans, and I've seen this with other shows like especially other franchises like Star Wars and stuff, where the fans think that they own the franchise and that they have a right in saying what happens. They don't.
They're doing it for us. Yeah.
We can complain about it. Now, if something is like horrible, but the thing, it's already out.
All right.
All right, guys. I get frustrated with this like mental gymnastics we need to do. We got to pretend we never read the books, and then watch something as if we don't have the most important book series of our lives. Like it gets a little. We don't need to relitigate. Yeah, they're changing everything, and I've mourned that. I mourned that in episode 1 of season 1. I was like, well, I guess this is truly the new turning of the wheel. So it's like. I don't want to belabor the point.
Do you remember
this episode?
I was going to say, do you remember and I don't know if you were into these books or not, and now it's a hot topic because of dipshit, but Harry Potter, right?
I'm right. Yeah, I'm in the room, Tavern. You don't have to call me dipshit.
No, it wasn't you, but
Okay.
you can hear that if you want. I don't have a problem.
Sorry. I just assumed.
You're good. So when people read Harry Potter, right, and fell in love with Harry Potter and fell in love with the characters and all that stuff, and they said, "Oh, they're going to make it into a movie," and everybody's like, "Oh, great! Oh, they're going to make it into multiple movies. That's even better." How much shit did they cut out of the books?
And change.
Not much. Not much. And it went, you know what? No. Hold on. So you look at Lord of the Rings, you look at Game of Thrones, you look at Harry Potter, you look at Hunger Games, you look at almost every like major series that has been turned into a television show, and they stay more or less true to the books. This was an experiment, I think, to see what they could. We got proof here when Loial, when they opened the book and it says the wheel turns and Padan as the blacksmith. It didn't say and legends come about. It didn't do any of that. This is not the book. This is clear. They could have said the wheel of time turns, the day just come and pass, and legends fade, myth fade, legend. They could have done all that shit, and they didn't. They were like, no, we're going to consciously make it so that I can't imagine that. Like, you imagine what Robert Jordan would think if they're like, oh yeah, we're going to take your thing, but we're going to like Loial's going to die, but maybe come back as a hero of the Horn. He's like, what? What? Loial isn't a hero of the Horn. He's not a violent guy. What the fuck are we doing?
Bro,
that's my Robert Jordan impersonation.
We are in season 3, and here's my, and I hate to be harsh about this. I love you. You know I love you. So don't take this wrong.
I love you.
We're in season 3. We're at the end of season 3. If it was bothering you that much, you wouldn't watch it. If it was bothering you that much, you would not watch it.
And Tavern, if I didn't do a weekly show talking about it, I wouldn't.
Really?
I would be done. Seriously.
Wow. That's impressive.
I don't like this. All right, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, my enjoyment is below 5. Like
that's rough.
I enjoy certain episodes. I enjoy certain scenes, but overall, I think, oh wow, this is something else.
At no point,
and no other fantasy series has done this. No other fantasy series has done this with their series. No other fantasy series. Every other fantasy series has stayed more or less true to the book series. This one is wildly fan fiction, and I'm okay with it, but I'm not enjoying it. I'm just
hold on. But every other one of those things was basically fully funded before it started. They could do whatever the hell they wanted.
Yes.
Yeah, there's still a lot missing from the Lord of the Rings and stuff like that.
Yeah, and there's a ton missing from Harry Potter, like a ton.
Yeah.
But killing Loial it's like if Lord of the Rings said, well, you know what, Samwise after this. Yeah. It's like saying, well, Sam doesn't really do much after this point, so we're going to kill him for emotional impact.
Well, you guys, let me ask you guys a question. Before this show was ever even into a thought, before it was ever green-lighted or anything like that, how many fans of the Wheel of Time versus how many fans of the Lord of the Rings versus how many fans of Harry Potter do you think the difference was? Do you think there were a lot more or a lot less?
There was a lot less Wheel of Time fans than there were the other two.
Exactly.
I don't know if that's true.
No, it is true.
No.
It is true.
Because
Lord of the Rings didn't have the little kids. It doesn't matter. They're still fans. They're still churning the pocketbook, right?
Exactly.
They're still churning the pocketbook.
Now, how many more fans do you think that they needed to bring on to this Wheel of Time show for it to even be successful?
You know what this sounds like?
Fans.
It feels like someone wrote. Like here's an analogy. Like Mozart writes a piece, and an orchestra is going to play the piece, but the conductor just like, you know what, we need to throw some fucking boom bap in there. People are gonna fucking love
You know what,
it.
Mozart. You know what? Mozart needs a flute in this. We need to throw some flutes. Let's get some flutes, Ryan.
No, it's just I guess the conversation always revolves back to, I guess the medium sucks for me. I like art and I like really well done like things that like are, you know, and something about television is just, I've never even thought about it at this length because I never cared enough about TV until they made my books, and all of a sudden now I have to like consider this and consider that and consider this and consider that. And I guess that's just like I just don't like TV that much. I'd rather read a book.
The happy lie that I tell. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Deadswing. Go for it.
I was gonna say I think that's a great musical analogy, but there's also there's a piece called The Dance Macabre, and it is generally it's a really nice piece of classical music, and the main feature is the violin. And it has this really great violin part in it. And then I saw an orchestra do it where they absolutely eliminated that and gave that part to the xylophone and the marimba and stuff. And what it did is it completely changed the voice of the piece in a major, like, good way. Because then you have the Dance Macabre, which is like the Dance of Death or something like that. And it really sounded like you had skeletons moving around and you had bones rattling and you had it really, really did a nice job, but you had no violin. So a lot of people who were, classical kind of purists were like, this is shit. I hate it. Where's the violin? I hate it. So I completely understand that. But at the same time, it is the Dance Macabre. It's just done with a different voice. And I think that when I've been approaching this show, there have been moments like this episode in particular, my book brain exploded. Like it took me a few watches to kind of be like, okay, what is happening? What things do I enjoy? What are some of the payoffs that maybe I missed because I was raging? And then, is this a good episode? For people who've never read the books, is this a good episode for people who have read the books? Can we glean something Wheel of Timey out of that? Because a lot of the things that people have been telling me have just been like, doesn't feel like the Wheel of Time. I mean, the super harsh critics, doesn't feel like the Wheel of Time. They've just taken, puppets and given them Wheel of Time names. And so,
hey, whoa,
hey, not on this show, buddy.
You know, I'm not. Yeah, take that slander elsewhere, would you?
Yeah, that's why I was like, get this rage up. That's what I was saying. But no, so you have to kind of see, like, I've my own sort of ego as a reader has been like, this show was written for me. And there's a wide range.
I got something to say. I have something to say. So, and I'm going to pull directly from Robert Jordan himself with this. In the books, during the last battle, we have an instance where women are picking up swords and learning how to fight. Yeah. And they are picking up swords with a lot of men who also equally don't know how to fight. And and it turns out that the women are getting better at the sword work than the men. And the reason for this was because the men went into it looking as if they already knew what to do. Yep. The women didn't. So they got a better experience and a better understanding of it. All of us of book readers went into this from season 1 knowing how it was supposed to be.
Yeah, right.
All of us.
Well, yeah, I mean,
wait, go ahead. Let him roll.
All the people who have not read the books are getting a more enjoyable experience because they're coming into this not knowing what's supposed to happen. Right. And you know what? For their experience, they don't need to. It's our experience that we're worried about right now. And our experience is that it's not happening the way that we think it's supposed to. Robert Jordan never had to cast anyone. Robert Jordan never had to send multiple people out to different destinations to actually find out if they could do it there. Robert Jordan never had to have ADs and DPs and PAs and first season, all of those
Extra.
things.
Yeah.
Neither did
It's
Tolkien.
all
Neither did
different.
George R. R. Martin. Neither.
You're right.
Come
And
on,
what?
man. What are we talking?
You
Why
know
are we
what?
making so many excuses? Why are we
It's
making
not
so
an-
many excuses?
It's not an excuse,
Because
though. Check it out. Go
Tolkien
ahead, Jansen.
Tolkien
So-
never got 8 episodes of 60 minutes.
Guys, I was looking at the number of deaths, the named character deaths, and the only two that have any semblance, besides Ingtar, but the only two that are really close to the books are Hopper and Jeff and Bonehope.
Okay. Can I ask you
Every other named death is either a made-believe character or is wildly different than the books.
Or,
Okay, so who's supposed
every
to be
other
dead?
they're not even on the show. So
Yeah. Yeah, so
because
who's
they didn't have
supposed to
enough
be
people.
dead right now?
Or they had too many people.
Who's supposed to be
Yeah.
dead?
Yeah, name some names.
Who's supposed to be dead right now?
I can go through the 3 seasons of deaths.
Well, no, I'm talking about in the
and-
book.
No,
and
I'm
explain-
talking about the books.
I mean,
I'm
we-
talking about from the books that are supposed to be dead on the show.
No, I'm saying so. We have Natty Cawthon, we have Loial, we have Eamon Baldo. No, I mean we can go through each and every death, and they're so wildly different. I mean, I guess it just took me a while to really embrace that this is it's fan fiction. It is not Wheel of Time. It's Wheel of Time characters and settings, but not the story, right? I mean, can we agree on that?
I
Okay,
disagree.
but
on
I mean,
that.
I'll say to an extent.
Okay.
Hold on. Here's my thing. All right. To an extent, I agree with that. Okay, we knew coming in we were not going to get the books. There was no way.
I did not know coming in. I
Okay,
had
you
high
did not know.
hopes.
If- okay,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say,
I thought
if
we were
you
getting your
thought-
fucking books.
if you thought we were getting 1,000 pages.
Nope. I
Worth
thought we
of
were getting
book.
something like Game of Thrones, though.
Hold on. If we thought we were getting 1,000 pages per season and multiple books of 1,000 pages per season, there's no way in hell. You were deluded if that's what you thought you were
You're
getting.
not going to get
Right?
13 years.
I thought we were
I was
just-
basing off Harry Potter. I was basing off Game of Thrones. I was basing off where you followed the
But they
basic
still, but that's
structure.
what I'm
of this-
saying. They kept the main plot line, is what
Really?
they did, because Harry Potter killed tons of
Here's
side plot
the
lines.
other huge thing you're not even considering this. How many books were the Game of Thrones?
5.
Six.
And the first 5 seasons were
not even-
great, and then 6
even
and 7 were horrible.
That's what
And
I'm
how much
saying.
of those
How
books did they
many
cut out?
books? How many books are the Wheel of Time?
No,
Bro, why, guys? I hate this excuse. I hate being like,
It's
well,
not an excuse,
but it's
a
so
fact.
big,
It's a
and it's
fact.
like, well, you fucking knew it when you started making this. I mean, were you like, all right, well, we do have this non-human 8-foot character, but it's going to be expensive to keep him for all the time, so we're going to kill him off in season 3. Do you think they thought that? Or is it just like, well, we got to adapt because we got to cut costs, we got to doge fucking Wheel of Time, and
I can
Is
answer.
that why they killed
I think I can answer.
we're doging Wheel of Time, guys.
Hold on a second. So check this out.
Like, is
So-
that why they killed Loial, or are you just making that
just-
up?
That's it. Yeah,
We don't
no, I
know.
honestly think,
That's one of the
I
rumors.
heard that it may
That's
be
his
too
thought.
expensive. Yeah.
All right,
Heard. Okay,
so
we
get
don't
this,
know.
get this. All right, remember back before, and I said this on the league stream. Remember back before season 1, and we had that interview with Rafe, and Rafe talking about somebody on the cast or the crew reading through several of the scripts and freaking out and coming at him freaked out when they found out that a major character dies at the end of season 3. We, as book readers, are all, it's Moraine.
Yep.
They're going to push it to Moraine Lanfear. That's what's going to happen. What if
Yep.
it was fucking Loial the entire goddamn time?
It probably
It
was.
It was.
So the Moraine and Lanfear is going to happen regardless. But the major shock, because it was somebody he said that I guess knew the books, it would be Loial, right?
There's
Yeah.
a difference
So that
between
plan-
dying and leaving a show.
Yeah, right. It was. I think it was planned. I think it was planned since the beginning. Now, the reason why, I don't know. You can say it's money. You can say it's whatever. Whatever you want to say, those are excuses, right? Because at this point, like I said, in season 1, I was exactly where you were at. Oh, this is kind of pissing me off because there's, the two things that set me off the most was the way they portrayed Loial, as far as
Yeah.
not being fast or whatever. And 2, the way columns really, really pissed me off. And for me, it's mostly aesthetic because if there's acting and it's good acting, I don't bitch about it. right?
All right,
about
I
this
like.
part.
Yeah, I like
So
this
at
comment.
that point is when I said, "This isn't the books." So I have to get on board and like the show as a show for what the show is and not compare the two. Because if you continue to compare the two, you're never going to like it. And you're just going to sour your freaking your heart to everything else. That's just the way I look at it.
And I guess it just takes more effort for some people than others. And I totally really can get that. Jesus AW, any reasonable person would be crazy to think they could cut get the entirety of the books adapted, but reasonably people did think they were getting things cut and condensed, not so much change. And I think that's where we're at. I always felt like we would just miss. I was like, oh, maybe I won't get my favorite scene, but it'll be in the books. Like I'll be like, oh, okay, bummer. Like I love that scene, but it didn't make it into that episode. Right. But I could move on. I thought literally that would be my
man. They got to make
I
it
thought my emotional
generations.
Yeah, getting something like the Sakaran versus like the Cohen Call and being like, okay, this is the counter to Kalendor. Yeah, okay, cool. That's fine. I dig it. But yeah, and by the way, let me just thank chat for hanging in there. I really am venting. I love you guys and I love everyone on screen. I'm just you know what? These things have been building in me for a little bit, so I guess I'm just getting things off my chest. This is like I can't imagine Robert Jordan would be like, "Oh yeah, that's fine if the TV show adaptation kills Loial." Like this, I can't see him being like, "Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's
great
cool.
idea.
I can understand. Great idea."
If he was looking at it from the perspective of a TV show rather than a novel and how the beats have to play out on a TV show, he might have been okay with it.
Yeah, maybe.
I think too that we those of us who are coming in, from having read the books, I've thought about this a lot because each of us is connected to different things in the books, and those things are massively important. The Coeden Call to me is like the fact that it may not be in the show is pissing me the fuck off. But then other people are like, why? Why would that even be the thing?
Yeah,
and then
to me it was just an object, yeah.
Yeah, and to me it was like, oh my god, this is the most amazing. Like I just had this weird connection to it that was so cool. So those kind of things that we miss in the show are activating people's rage and stuff or whatever, but it's different for every person. And when you're making a show like this, I don't think this is an excuse, but you cannot possibly grab everybody's emotional connection and manifest it into scenes of the show.
Absolutely. No,
well, let me ask you: wasn't it Witcher? Tell me if I'm wrong, but didn't James Carville, James Carville, the guy? No, who left Witcher because the story was too far from the actual story?
He was being a menace on the set.
Yeah, on the set.
Yeah, okay.
But it was because of that, because he wanted everything to be a 1-to-1 copy, and
accurate. Yeah.
He ended
and you
up
guys, please understand this. Please understand.
I wish Joshua would do that.
There are probably 2,000 to 3,000 people working on these sets.
Yep.
And out of these 2,000 to 3,000 people, probably 0% of them, maybe 0.1, will be at JordanCon.
Yep.
These people got up at 2:00 in the morning every single day for months and worked 12 to 18-hour days, 6 days a week sometimes, to put for their jobs, for their living, for their livelihood. And they put their hearts and their souls into everything that they do, because all of these people, and I have worked with a lot of these people. Some of these people I'm talking about I've worked with. They are all perfectionists for what they do, because their jobs are all performance-based.
Yep.
They are doing the best they can to put out the best product that they possibly can with what they have. They don't have as much say as anybody. And keep in mind, all of the scripts went through hand after hand after hand before it was green-lighted to be put to production. So all of the things that are happening on this show, they've known about, and they knew the reactions that they were going to get.
Yep.
they knew that they were going to get this. Rafe knew. And I'm telling you, there's a reason for everything. We might not like that reason. Just like Androl says, all men are ignorant. You know, all men are ignorant, and the basis for what their ignorance may be may change, but the world is made so no man may know everything. You know, and I believe that's an exact quote.
Yeah.
We
really
have
like
to bear with him, bear with these people who are trying to get this production.
Yeah, no, and I have no hate to anyone working on this. I'm glad that they're doing it. And every scene every still shot that we post up looks like a Renaissance painting. I mean, it is gorgeous. The whole thing is just a really good looking thing. I'm not mad at the actors. I would say that the writing in this, I did not like the monologues at all that were going on. They seemed amateurish to me and overly just barf. Bleh. Like, what are we, Hallmark Channel? What are we doing?
Hey.
Are we a Sci-Fi Channel or are we Amazon? You know.
Do you know that there's a, and I mean, they have numbers for everything, but there's probably, I'll use the military as an example. So one of the things I learned as an instructor in the military was that when we write any kind of curriculum, we have to write it to a certain age level or reading level. And you would be surprised that it's like 8th to 10th grade or something like that.
Yeah.
In the military, that's the highest we're supposed to write to, so that everybody can understand what the hell we're talking about. So with a show like this, one, they're trying to get not just book readers involved in the show and liking the show. They're trying to get everyone that's never heard of the books. You know, you're trying to draw people in, and you do that by giving them what they want. And what they want right now is pretty much what we're getting in the Wheel of Time, which is why it's drawing so many people. The genres of people and the age groups of people that it's drawing in is incredible. I've seen more TikToks and more YouTube videos from people I've never even heard of or seen, just going on about the show, which, by the way, I think has been done fairly well. Even though I don't agree with everything that happens on the show, I think it's done fairly well. And it's not easy when you know you're going to change something to not only try to stay true to what they can in the books, right? Because they do stay to the main plot line. But to write it in such a way that even keeps book readers guessing what's going to happen next.
Exactly. You have to do
That's
it.
a freaking challenge.
You have to do that.
Because, and not to mention that the book readers for the Wheel of Time are an incredibly intelligent group of freaking people.
Yeah, especially with the social media.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna push back just however
by all
gently,
means.
and don't worry, Brother Dan's not hiding behind you on his hands and knees. You're not gonna fall over. All right.
I can see him.
Are you literally saying to me that you would not enjoy this more if it was true to the books?
I'm not saying that at all. I would
Okay.
listen. I would.
Why would they?
totally,
Okay, so why would they need to trick us? Why do they need to trick the book readers? Why is that?
I'll tell you why right now.
because it keeps us coming back. So that even though we're pissed off, we're still going, oh, what's going to happen next?
Keep
Oh,
this
you
in
mean
mind,
okay?
too.
You're
If
saying the
they
inevitable
had-
changes have to trick.
It has to. If this show went exactly like the books, there wouldn't be anybody new coming because everyone on social media would already be telling you what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Everybody would. They would be
And we
telling
can't do that.
the whole story, dude. They would say everything
But-
because people can read their mouth shut. They can't.
We didn't see that with Game of Thrones.
Ned Stark still got his head chopped off, and everyone knew it was
Right,
coming. It was still great.
right. We don't. It's not the story. It's how we want to see it portrayed. We want to see the story on screen. We're not here to spoil things. I mean,
For every book reader that saw the Game of Thrones, 10 non-book readers watched it, and for everyone who said it went to shit after season 5,
The non-book readers stayed on.
non-book readers were like, they still watched.
no,
they
didn't like it either.
No,
I mean, they
the
watched
8th
it.
season sucked ass, but they still watched it.
Yeah, I'm telling
Yeah.
you.
I watched it too, and I hate it. Like I kind of hate watched it at the end. I was like, oh great, let's see how evil Daenerys is becoming now.
The dragon hates the symbolism of the throne. He's gonna burn it down.
Oh yeah.
Dragons are so emo.
Okay, hold on.
They're
You realize though that
so
the season that
sentient.
we're talking about, the season that we're talking about, there was no book written for it because lazy ass would rather go pet fucking direwolves than finish a goddamn book.
Well, so that's the point we're making, is that the first 5 seasons were blockbuster because it stayed more or less true to the story. Sure, they took out things, but they didn't really change things. It's not like Jaime suddenly like married Arya or shit like that. There wasn't like craziness like that. They took out Lady Stoneheart. They took out a couple things. They had more focus on Pod. They had more focus on these things, but they stayed true to the story. It's once the story was no longer written and they had to create their own story, TV writers couldn't fucking write fantasy. And guess what? They're not writing fantasy very well.
Okay, that being said, they've already done it, and this show is getting more people than ever.
Yep.
I know. Damn, we just don't like TV.
Here's the other thing.
I just don't like TV.
I've never read A Song of Ice and Fire. I've never read the books. I started reading the first book, and I didn't like the way he wrote. But I watched the show, and I watched every episode of it. I freaking hated the way he wrote.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
Awesome.
So,
that's a whole other show right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I own those books and I've never finished them.
I mean, you guys are also missing the long game here too.
Yeah.
All of these people who are watching the show who love it are going to hear from the book readers and say it didn't happen like that in the books, and they're going to buy the books.
So I will say that I have heard this week of my son's roommate's mom started reading the books because they did the Eiffel Tower.
Good looking.
I mean, mom's roommate's stepmom. Anyways, and she started reading the books and didn't like them because they weren't like the show.
Yeah, and
okay.
And that's
it goes both ways. And by the way, if
is that okay though?
Of course, it's okay.
This whole
dude. So a lot of people who like comic books and Marvel and stuff like that, like myself.
Yep.
They started reading these books back in the 60s. Back in the 60s, in the X-Men genre, a guy named Magneto was in a concentration camp had kids and all those things. And it was in World War II, 1942. It's 2025, and kids still like those characters, but you can't write them that way anymore. You have to subtly change their stories, and this is going to happen with fictional characters until they're gone. Randall Thor will be different in 30 years.
But the X-Men are obviously a fan fiction. They're derived from comic book characters. They're taking the characters and their powers and then changing the story. We understand that. When we're watching something called The Wheel of Time, we assume that it's going to be similar.
All right, Dan, you sound like you're still advocating for flip phones.
No, hold on. So here's the thing.
Brian, my next help chirp.
Dan, that's awesome.
Oh, what is this? Number 12? Wait, episode what?
That's number 17.
Oh, wait, no, it's 12 cents. Sorry.
12 cents,
okay,
number 17.
Right. That's awesome. Dan, so to me, every fantasy book ever written is fanfic for something else, right? So we know that a lot of the Wheel of Time was pulled from the Lord of the Rings. A lot of it.
Robert Jordan did write for Conan.
Yeah. I mean, so every fantasy series, every written was fanfic for something else or some idea that somebody had. It's all make believe. So to say that the show is fanfic as opposed to the book, it's fanfic for the books, if you want to look at it that way. But in itself, it's its own story. And somebody will write fanfic about the stuff that they're seeing on the show. And it'll just continue to trickle on down through the ages.
They've already greenlighted a prequel.
Yeah.
This show is just so challenging, guys. I mean, I'm
I
not
know.
trying to. Gosh, I'm not trying to be a bitch. But man, it's just really challenging.
Brother Dan,
My gosh,
Dan,
every
Dan.
week I'm like, all right, we did this now. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, after episode 4, people were dancing like it was a Baptist church in the South.
After what?
after episode 4, they got it right. They got it
Right,
right.
and that was the closest to the books, and that was why everyone's like, "Oh, okay, now they understand." And he's like, "All right, hold my beer."
Yeah. All right. Hey, the thing I'm most upset, probably of all 3 seasons, not to keep the negativity going, but
Go on, Ryan.
just a huge lack of.
Oh, I was
Oh.
waiting.
Fuck yeah.
We're done.
Is that a
No,
bell?
we're-
I was prepared
Nope.
for that one.
Yeah,
Which
we're
is
in
a
the
fantastic
No, we're still
segue-
alive, everyone.
Which is a fantastic segue into the next 2 weeks at Jordan Con. You can come see me and Brother Dan and have the opportunity to win one of these babies.
Let's go.
Oh yeah,
Let's
zoom
go.
him in, Ryan.
Oh
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
We've got black, and we've also got white.
Nice.
Let's go.
Love that.
Brother Dan and I will be wearing these, one of a kind. No one else will have them.
Oh, I thought that was, man, you should have put your face on there.
No, but then look at the back.
With
Nice.
the sunburst, yes.
I like
Oh.
it. I like it a lot.
That's so sick. Jansen can put his face in the sun like a Teletubby. Oh,
I will be dressing up for the costume contest as
All
Eamon
right.
Olga this year.
Nice.
That's
I
exciting.
like very much. Why are you posed like a French girl, Dan?
oh, he has been the whole time. If he opens
Oh,
his legs,
did
we
I-
get a free show.
I forgot. About
He's being polite.
I looked up and I just saw him sitting there like, I'm mermaid dancing.
Yeah,
It's a lot of floor work.
Dan, at some point it felt good, and then at some point it felt bad to complain. I'm going to choose to try and be positive.
Well done.
we-
Thank you, Ryan.
It's like modernity is here. There are no good movies anymore. There's no it's just like we just everything's
Right.
changing, and
I can turn this
it
around.
is. I'll never regret the time I spend with you guys and
Never.
Gal, Beth, and everyone in chat, like talking about this week in, week out, and then talking about the books. I'll never regret this time. Thank you guys for being so understanding and being honest in chat. And I love that we have a diversity of views on this channel. This is why we get the crew together. This is the official Tavern Talk crew. Sans,
Mine-
Beth.
Yeah.
I think
I will-
I also
Nice.
just can I just also give some affirmation to Brother Dan, because I do feel like when I watch these shows, the show itself is a great show. They're doing a great job, but I do find that on the episodes when I'm watching, there are some moments that I really wanted to see, or some timeline
Yep.
that I really wanted to see, or even a line that's given to somebody else or just eliminated completely, where I just have to hang my head and be like, all right, Dad's fine.
I love Show Lane.
Yeah,
I've literally shut that off.
yeah, and so it's difficult sometimes. This episode, especially for me, was very
Yeah.
difficult to shut the book off, because I was just kind of like, no, and then the Loial thing, I was ready to throw my TV out the window, like in comedy and in truth, because I was just kind of like, this is not how it's supposed to happen, and it's because we connect with these moments so much that it really fucked my emotions up, and so I do feel that, with you. But I'm also just kind of like, this feels like the Wheel of Time to me. However they're taking it, whatever path they're taking it, I want to go on that path and see where it goes with them. But
I do feel like
can
I'm in the Westlands, yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, Dan?
Yeah, please.
we'll start with something small. We're gonna have a wheel intervention.
I
We're
love
gonna have a wheel
it. Oh,
intervention.
sorry. Speaking of
We're
wheel
gonna-
intervention right here, we haven't gotten into this, everybody.
No, we have not.
Ah.
One of the more disturbing things in television.
So, Daniel, what? We'll start with something small. What character or what scene did you enjoy, as opposed to not liking? What did you enjoy
In this episode?
Yeah, or in the show altogether? I mean, what have you enjoyed?
Oh, I've enjoyed. No, come on, don't get me wrong. I have enjoyed certain things, and I've Viridian. I thought was fantastic. I liked the testing in the rings. I don't like the way so much, but I like some of the magical elements that Robert Jordan created that are brought to life for sure.
Well,
What I
said
don't
you
like it-
you didn't like the ways that much.
The way I thought much. So you saw Harry
I'm just
Potter.
curious. Yeah, I'm just curious.
Mush
Yeah,
and Shin reminded me of those keys that Harry had to go get the one key.
yeah, I got you. All right.
So I thought Mush and Shin was much more scary in the books than it was on TV, and it seems like Nynaeve blew him up.
So
So
here's the thing, though. In the books, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. The ways was pitch black.
uh-huh.
We got zero description other than there's platforms and there's walkways, but it's pitch black, so you couldn't see shit. So, but what we got on the show, you have to have something visual.
No, I get no. The aesthetics of the ways themselves are good. I didn't like Mush and Shin. I guess I should have just been clarifying on that.
No, that's
You know.
fine.
I thought Mashadar was rad. I liked Mashadar. I didn't like Mush and Shin.
Mashadar was
so-
see. I was the opposite. I didn't really like Mashadar. I would have liked to have seen the white misty stuff. To me, the mist is a lot creepier than a freaking mold that's growing. Because the mist can wrap around you. It can come from above you, from below you. This looked like it was just stuck to whatever it could touch. And that was the thing that actually bothered me. I didn't like it. So,
Yeah, I guess with the death of Loial, we'll never get answered. What did he hear when Mush and Shin?
That's
was
what
affected?
I was like. I wonder what he told him.
Was it just like, you're so hasty?
You're
so
so great.
fucking hasty.
Yeah.
You're so
Why do you?
hasty.
Yeah, you
Why are
should
you
take
so
the time.
hasty?
You're too young. to be other ways.
You're way too young.
I
You should
think
grow,
it's
you
because
can't even grow a beard.
Yeah.
I think it's
That's
because they didn't
if
want to
he's
pay for a
actually dead.
female Ogier. They didn't want
I
to pay for
think
it.
No, it's you got part of that right. It's that when they talk about the budget, they're not talking about today.
Yeah.
So when you talk about how many scenes and how many things that Loial would be in from here on out, and you start adding that up, and you take that number out, then you start seeing how much you're going to save when you have Tom Maryland coming in, and you can have another character just in clothes, other than this guy in a full costume, and have to be there 5 hours early to do hair and makeup and get paid overtime every day.
Yep.
That's
And
the
they have
budget
to-
for that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of decisions, I think, and something that I'm learning as a non-industry television person is just that there's a lot of decisions that are taking out of Rafe's hands and out of everybody's hands because somebody was like, we don't have the budget for Loial anymore, or we don't have the budget for this anymore, or whatever. So it's really tough sometimes to visualize that when that's not your industry and you don't know, I'm talking about me, we don't know who's got their hands on what or who has to get approval from whom. We were talking about locations earlier, and Rafe was saying, sometimes you only have the location for like 2 days or 3 days. And so when you see it on screen, people are like, oh, that felt really rushed. Well, fuck yeah, it felt really rushed. They only had it for 2 days. So it gives a little bit more maybe sympathy or empathy on my end where I'm kind of like, okay, I would have liked to have seen that more. But I understand now that they were only there for 2 days, so they did the best they could.
And it surprises me. It really does surprise me that I don't. Yes, that they have a budget or whatever, but I mean, Amazon's loaded.
Loaded.
I still say that they do a lot of this through data,
Market research.
Yeah, data analysis and stuff, and they
It's all about asses in the seats, man.
Yeah. Well, that and I think, but Amazon is specifically, I think, is very prone to using just numbers
Yeah, totally.
Without actually looking at anything else, right? They'll just run the numbers and like, okay, this has got a score of this. Okay, we keep it. Oh, it dropped a half a point, gone.
Well, if that's true, then that's good for this show, meaning that they'll get a bigger budget next year. Now,
which we've
next
seen
season,
every year.
Yes, but also consider this though: these actors going into season 4 are not going to be getting paid the same amount of money anymore.
Nope.
Not even close. Rand is going to probably be getting 100% bonus. I mean, Rand is going. I mean, shit, man. That's the one thing these actors coming out of this series are going to be writing their own ticket. Coming out of this series, dude.
Is that the story behind like successful shows? Like after the third season,
going into a fourth season, you renegotiate your contract. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially for streaming, dude. Back in the day, it was going into season 7. You knew you were going to be a millionaire, because it's going into syndication.
Was I wrong to say that Loial may have been doged then? Was he the Department of Efficiency? He just it takes all of it 4 hours to get him up.
Yeah, I think that was part of it. I think it all came into, they put it all into one basket and was like, yeah, it's not going to be cost effective for us to do it this way. And I mean, they probably wrote it that way. And, like I said, I still think there's a method to his madness. And you know what? During this show, I came to a different conclusion than I started the show with. And that had to do with Padan Fain. And because the thing that I haven't been able to talk about yet on our show today was the thing that made me the most pissed off. And that was that Perrin let him live. Perrin let him live. You let a guy who not only brought Trollocs to the Two Rivers, went to Faldara, killed your friends, stole the Horn of Al'ir, rampaged across the entire world, came back to the Two Rivers to put you harm, and you keep him alive. Now I know why.
I mean, he told him off. He told him off. He talked to him.
Well,
I'm afraid.
He's like, don't do it again.
It was after what Tavern said. What Tavern said to me in the beginning of this show. Abel went off to find Matt's family. That means Matt's family's still alive. Padan Fain was given mercy. Family. Yeah, Perrin's family. But Padan Fain was given mercy by Perrin that time. That still leaves Padan Fain time to do to Perrin's family what we think he was going, what he did in the book.
Guys, are we seeing Tam Althor again?
Yes.
I think so. So, Jansen, to add to that, from a military standpoint, they were still outnumbered when Perrin had Padan Fain on the ground. Whether Perrin had killed Padan Fain or let him live, those Trollocs were not going to run away.
No, okay? how about he?
So, that's true.
So by telling him get them out of here, he basically saved everybody in the Two Rivers.
That's a perspective I didn't think about, but thank you for that.
Yeah, Brother Dan suggested, how about he just cut off an arm and cut off a hand like he did in the book, and say, call him off or cut off your other hand, right?
Yeah. All right.
No, I guess
not this parent. This parent doesn't want violence anymore.
No.
Did you?
I guess also you have Padan Fain, who they've deduced is controlling the Dark Friends and the army itself of the Shadow. So basically, I think Perrin might have said, if we kill Fain, it might, they may all lose control and it might go into complete chaos and we might all die anyway.
I don't know if Perrin on the show knows the thing with he might know from the first season what a Fade can do in the middle of all of that. But again, I don't think Padan Fain was controlling them in that aspect. I think he was just the commander of the
as a commander. Without a commander, the army might have lost control.
Yeah. To me, I'm gonna say that there was yeah, never mind. Go ahead. I was gonna say something about Perrin, but it's not on the topic that we're discussing.
So predictions, since we're coming down to the wire. Predictions.
Okay. Predictions for what?
Aram is a shitty blacksmith. That's my prediction.
Pots and pans and that's
My prediction is that very soon, while the White Cloaks have Perrin in a cage or in some kind of thing while they're traveling,
Mhm.
Jared Byer, who was introduced, is going
Yep.
to try to kill him.
Okay.
By just like he did in the books.
Okay.
By saying he was going to escape or whatever. And I believe that either Tam or Elias is going to save him.
How about just wolves?
I can see that.
I don't think
They don't
I
have
think
opposable
Elias
thumbs.
will always be with the wolves.
They don't
Wolves
have
are missing
opposable
opposable thumbs to open the locks.
Yeah, I think whenever they see the wolves, they're going to see Elias too. I think that's how
Yeah.
they're going to play this. I think that's how they're going to play this.
I like that theory. The one thing about Perrin, though, for whatever reason, they chose in the middle of this fight to finally balance Perrin.
Yeah.
And the balance came the moment he picked up the hammer.
Yeah.
As well as the axe. And from that point, he shifted into a whole new character. And we saw that because even though he was fighting, at the end, it was all about peace.
Mhm.
Because he was balanced. He's doing the thing that he needs to do at the time he needs to do it. And that's cool. So I like that theory. The fact that he went with them willingly, right, to face the life's justice shows that one aspect of it. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if it's Tam or if it's, in that group, or if it's Elias. That'll be really interesting. But I think you're right. I think Child Buyer might attack him.
Was that hammer just a standard blacksmith hammer, or was it Layla's hammer?
It might have been, I don't know. To me, I thought it was the same hammer that was hanging there in the dream that he had when they left the Two Rivers. And he was walking and there was like moonlight behind him or whatever. I thought it was the same thing that was hanging there.
Okay.
But it was also weird that when the fight started and he got caught and he was in his crazy, I'm getting everybody killed shit, that he and Fail were in the same positions as he and Layla were when the Trolloc attacked and a Trolloc attacked.
Yeah.
And this time it was a whole different battle and it was a whole different fight with a different outcome. So I thought that was done really well. But yeah, I agree with you. Jensen, to get off topic. Sorry.
I also believe that Dane Barnhold, and at least in the show, will one day be the Lord Captain Commander of the Children of the Light.
That drunk?
That drunk.
So let me ask, what's your prediction about the twins, the Cawthon twins?
Oh, they're gonna be with
Alana.
They're gonna travel all the way to Saladar if they haven't.
Yep. Also, did you notice something about the twins? They're not twins. They look like twins, but I don't think they are twins.
I don't think
Or
they
they're
are.
Did you notice that
They're step twins.
they automatically? That's a different movie.
Can you be step twins?
The cool thing about the sisters was that they automatically and instinctively had learned how to link before Alana even got there, because even when they healed Alana the first time, they linked.
Well, they already knew they could channel, and so did their moms. So they had.
Someone has suggested twin telepathy. They're not twins.
They're not
Definitely.
twins.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, one's older than the other for sure.
Okay.
I liked how
They look like twins, though. Jesus.
Yeah, I do like how they kind of touched on, when they were talking to Perrin, and they were kind of like, I guess we're not really good for anything, really. They were kind of like, we can't even, whatever it was that they were talking about. Cottons aren't so good for this or that or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And Perrin had to be like, no, here's this, beautiful picture of Matt.
Matt.
Party Matt.
And the horn of clean gear.
And that shirtless grin.
Dude, look at that. Look at the power. Like, even when Alana was linking with them, you could see the amount of power in each one by the way the weaves were being pulled in.
Yeah.
From like Daisy's power level was crazy.
Yeah.
Well, in the books, Bodwin is near strength to Egwene.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, she's pretty strong.
No, and they all look strong. I'm just saying that the weaves coming in from Daisy's side were really solid, and I think it's just because she was an adult. and the
Yeah.
other two still hadn't reached their full power.
Well, it was also interesting because like Alana was the one that was kind of doing the burnout thing, and the other three were perfectly fine at their power level. Like they didn't show them, also.
Yeah. She was pulling.
Yeah. So you
I
could
love
see
it.
that they were all three more powerful than Alana herself.
I love how Maxim was looking up at the sky, going, he's trying to eyeball it. Back up. Nope. Little back up now. Back it up. Back
All
it
right.
up.
Do we?
So
do we all
the
hate
bond. Hold on, real fast. The bond does give some telepathy. It seems, right?
No, he conveyed an emotion to her. He made himself, because you can see it in his face.
He
It
made
wasn't
himself
telepathy. Yeah, he did something.
It seemed like telepathy. It seemed like he was sending her like a little message.
Yeah. Little email.
Little email, exactly the text. He sent a little emoji, and like he sent a fist pump. He sent the American flag. He sent the fire.
All right, Ryan and Dan, here I got something for you. Back when I was reading these books, right? The whole texting thing and all that stuff started kicking in after a while, right? With the phones and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, the only way I could envision what Min's vision looked like were as emojis around people.
That's amazing.
That's what I thought was. I mean, because I was like, at first I was like, oh, cool. There's little visions, and I'm always thinking little icons, anyways, because that's just how my brain works. When I doodle and stuff, I'm doing little minimalist sketches and shit. So to me, that's how I pictured. So when all the other stuff started coming around with the emojis and all that shit, I was like, oh, that's what they look like. Yeah. That's just sad.
You see that woman over there? She has a woman dancing over her head, a disco ball, and fire. She's gonna have a good night.
Yeah.
So those two have an eggplant between them, and
yeah.
And the squirt G, the wet emoji.
Like when you look at Alana, it's like what, peach, eggplant.
Peaches, eggplant, and a fig.
Yeah.
Eggplant.
And a fucking fig.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to get going in a second.
All right, buddy.
All right, my man.
That's a good time to end it.
Jansen. Yeah.
Yes. And
Jansen,
got some hungry children.
Hey, how was that?
All right,
premiere?
sir.
All right.
We keep.
How was that? What?
You say you went to a premiere last time we talked to you, right?
It went really well. In fact, I sent Ryan and Dan a quick excerpt from that film.
Nice.
You can actually play that if you want. It was crazy.
My phone's dead. I would. I'm sorry, my phone's dead.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Dan,
it's pretty crazy.
and I can't talk Dan into doing anything technical.
Oh, Ryan, I'm on my phone. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do right now? I'm on my last leg. I'm scraping the barrel of technology.
You're doing great, Dan.
You're doing great. Too.
Ryan, I'm going to eat a fig right in your face and not share any of it with you, just because of that.
Oh no!
Can you sense how much I enjoy it?
All right. Well, let's think about it, Jansen. Let's wrap this up.
Right on,
Let's put a bow on this turd.
Bye, Jansen.
See you, buddy.
Bye,
right.
chat.
And
seriously, those Bella shirts are fantastic. I can't wait to see them in real life, and I can't wait to. They're gifts for Watchinary. They're going to be. Yeah, for the first time, we're going to have actually like gifts, right?
That's
yeah.
awesome. You know, I've never played your Watchinary. Just gonna put that out there.
No.
Just throwing that out.
Yeah. We don't have guests. You got to be in the audience to get randomly drawn.
We're very discriminating, Tavern.
No, that's fine. I'm just saying I've never played it. I was just
we will remedy this error soon.
No, I'm not gonna be at any cons, so we're good.
We'll have another Watchinary after the convention. But yeah, so Tavern, do you have anything you want to promote?
I have been really, really busy with merch lately.
Awesome.
And I have been convinced, because I usually don't really promote my merch on the interwebs because people get upset. So lately I've been convinced to go ahead and to start promoting. So I've been putting a ton of shit out. The last couple of weeks I've probably put out about 50 new designs. And I'm branching out outside of the Wheel of Time. So I've got some OA stuff out there and some other stuff. So yeah.
Oh wait, did you say Oasis stuff? Like the band?
The OA.
The
is a
TV
The OA.
That you guys would probably really enjoy it. Actually, the OA is an amazing show.
It's very good.
So yeah, that's
I've
it.
never-
And tomorrow night we got the Wheel and Chill show. We've got a show only guest coming back on, and that'll be amazing for the first hour. Stop by.
Hey, if you're ever looking for guests for that show, I'm sure Ryan wants to be on it.
I've never been a guest on that. Dan, have you ever
Really?
been a guest on that?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure we have.
No, I've yet to wheel or chill.
We had a sticky cloth on there once. Oh nope. Never mind. Wrong thing.
I've willed and chilled.
We'll probably
All right.
we usually so during
that's
the
the way.
season we usually do show only guests for the first half hour and then we just do ourselves. But after the season's over, we were going to be having discussion. So I will definitely have you on the list.
Oh, cool.
I don't want a pity booking. It's all right.
It's not a pity. It's not a pity booking. There'll be caresses. There'll be caresses.
Will and Jill. You guys, look at that for real.
We have a lot of fun.
That's right.
Nothing.
What are you doing, bro?
I've been sick, so this week I'm going to be focusing on trying to get all the stuff that I've been working on as far as reactions onto my YouTube.
Nice.
Hmm.
And your YouTube, what are we looking for? Dad Swain?
Oh Jesus!
On
I
YouTube?
think it is Dad Swain Sadai is what you can look up. I'm pretty sure I'm the only.
That's the kind of stuff you need to tell the audience, Dad. Swain.
Yeah. I'm like, come follow me. I'm not even sure where I am.
Well, Matt Stagger put it up in the chat. It's
thanks, Stagger.
Aaron Morris something.
Yeah, that's it. I kind of know how to change that into a Dad Swain thing.
If you want, let me know, and if you can't figure it out, I can help you out with that.
I know this degree is good for something, so I'm sure I can figure it out. But
Yeah.
Aaron, your name only has one A?
there's 2 A's.
Oh, okay.
Unless I did it wrong,
Okay.
which is probably why.
Oh, no. It's
So that's why
my font is too big, so it cut it up. All right. So dumb.
Oh my god.
So dumb. Thank you, Matt Stagger. You're the best.
Thank you, Stagger. You are the best.
Ryan, what do you have to promote?
Goodwill, and kindness towards even the lowliest of amongst us.
Me.
Yeah, and if that's how you feel, then reach out.
Sometimes.
So there's always someone worse off than you.
It's true.
Me.
That's
Hey,
Yeah, I want to promote Goodwill as well, Ryan. Peace on Earth. You know, everyone, return your shopping carts. Just, just go next level, would you?
All right, I want to promote Watch Brats, Case Sadai's newest venture. It's a YouTube channel. Go over. You got to type in at Watch Brats, all one word for some reason, and then you'll find them. It's Matt Stagger, Mr. Stovey, and MR Howley.
Yeah.
All right.
subscribe.
This Tuesday, we're continuing through the second to last book, Towers of Midnight, and we are. It's getting.
We're
good.
more than halfway through now, Ryan.
Yeah, this is crazy. We've been at this for 5 years. Hey, guys! Also, last Saturday was the 5-year anniversary of our channel.
Nice.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
If we were smart and had forethought, we would have done some sort of huge event, maybe gotten donations for a charity, but no, we forgot.
No. I told Ryan, I'm like, oh, by the way, that just happened. He's like, oh, huh. What do you know?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, we couldn't be happier. Thanks for joining us, guys. As always and forever, run for your lives. This is the way of the leaf.